Hello, VIPKid teachers. So I'm finishing up for the day, and I wanted to share with the new hirees, if you just got hired and you are wondering, how do I even begin? Or maybe you just are about to do your interview and you're like, what do I do? Because I can't have intentional language. What do I do? Well, I had something happen to me today that was a big example of how to do it in the beginning, because I have older students now and so I can use intentional language, but in the beginning you can't because you usually have trials and it's a lot younger students. So here's what happened. um, the firemen are busy, the people who help us with IT issues, uh, because of the virus. So I had sound, I did my check, everything was good. She, however, could not hear me. So I asked her to restart the computer. I had to draw on my board the little circle with a line in it for her to restart her computer. She did. She refreshed. It didn't work. We switched to lines. It didn't work. We kept calling the firemen. I wrote them in Chinese. I wrote them in English. Didn't work. So I was like, you know what? And she was still there. So I was like, well, I don't know if it'll be canceled, but either way, I have time. I had another class after, one more class. And so I said, well, if you want to read, we can read. She couldn't hear anything I was saying. So it was basically like a big game of charades the entire time. And it was hilarious because she is such a good English speaker. She's in level 6. The highest level we go to is level 7. She's in level 6. So it was very funny for both of us, but it reminded me of how you begin. So I bracket the things that I want them to read. Can you read? And she read a lot of it. And when she mispronounced things, I underlined it, but I underlined the exact letter that she messed up on. And I do this for short, like eh. And so she already knows that. But I still did my mouth because she can see it. And this for long, when it's a long vowel. So short vowel, like e, long, e. So she already has that ingrained in her brain because I've seen her so many times. So we did this and she got it. And she was doing this without hearing me. She was doing the lesson perfectly, actually more perfect than when I step in and speak and she could hear me. So I encourage you to act like it is a game of charades. So you're using your hands, intentional with what you're using your hands for. Use that pen. Underline specifically the letters that they're messing up on. Is it the short? Is it this? Do they need to break up the word? Do they need to put more emphasis on one part of the word? Because you can use this and you can use the underline to do that. So bracket, point, and hand behind the ear, because I don't do that in level 6, but with this class I did, so that she knew that I could understand and I could hear her even though she couldn't hear me. We went through the entire lesson. It went well, strangely enough. I don't know if it'll be a teacher IT or a student IT, but it went well. I tried my iPad, I tried everything. So that's your tip of the day. If that happens to you, of course you could just get out if you want to, but I don't ever want to, in case it's a student IT. I just stay in the classroom. That's just what I do. But when you're first beginning or you're just starting and about to have the interview, I remember I was so nervous because I didn't know. I was like, I don't want to do intentional language, but I was like making myself stuck, that I didn't want to like say anything. So the easy way to just do it is to bracket and point, and use your hands as charades. That's it. Try to use as little words as possible. Pretend that the other person cannot hear you. That will help you. Pretend they have no sound on their computer. And if you want to practice, what you could do is have one of your friends or your daughter or son or another teacher friend do that, but mute you. Have them mute you, and then you can practice that way. So if they don't understand, they really won't understand unless you have the TPR and you're doing the right things. Have them mute you. Happy teaching.